Golf Performance Group virtual podcast. See, we are so committed to making sure you have this content, even on our busy schedules. Clearly, I'm not really on a beach in Maui right now. You have your host, Brado Palmer. We also have.
Ginormous Johnson, and this is my home office. It's not a green screen, but
I'm
I'm
on actual green screen right now.
yeah, I'm not as tech savvy as you yet. I tried to do it, but it just blurred out my face. So
Yeah. Hey, matter of fact, as we close out this episode, I am going to have him put on his version of green screen, and he became the green screen. So I want y'all to see what this looks like at the end. So,
yeah.
but how are you doing this today, sir? How are things at the academy? What's been new? What's been new?
What's been new is I got out on the course and played some golf. Sunday, played 10 holes, played 8 holes yesterday. So I'm excited because we got tournaments starting next month. How we for the player of the year points, so how we end the tour events, and then the PGA National Championship the end of next month, which is the most important one because that's how you get back into the PGA Championship.
So you went from playing no golf to 18 holes in 2 days. So I mean, you're officially back.
Well, 18 holes, Wednesday, Sunday, it's like 4 days, yeah. But that's the most I played. I played the Monday qualifier, and I played 2 scrambles. And before, I don't even know before that. That's all I played this year. But yeah, game's so good though. So
you're back. So and I also took advantage of a 70-degree day yesterday. Needed really for me, it was more. I just got to get back in the environment. Went out, hit a few balls. Saw Scarface out on the course again. He's still at Wildcat. So
how's he doing?
Yeah, doing good, man. Had a good conversation with him for about 10, 15 minutes. So I think I need to start, showing up again, being ready to play. I also keep telling him, hey, I want you to come
That
up.
would be, I think he would whoop your ass, but that'd be a good match.
I don't know. If I get 6 months, it's gonna be a lot.
Oh yeah. He gets 6 months, but he's like around 80. Like he's around 80. So what last time I played that was a few years back, and did he seem pretty healthy?
Yeah, it seems to be doing pretty good. Glad that he was out there playing. He has a group that he plays with, maybe about 3 or 4 guys, and I think they just go out in the afternoon. There's been a few times where I've wanted to jump in with them. I think I probably will maybe in the next couple of weeks now that my schedule's starting to get more flexible.
Oh, actually, that reminded me. So Chris, who we've had on the podcast, he's one of Scarface's best friends, but we're playing golf tomorrow at Blue Jack with, I believe his name's Glenn Wilson. He's a world long drive guy.
Nice.
And then Derek Lewis, the UFC heavyweight knockout. So I to figure out how to, do some good video editing, or video. So
send them my way when you get done. Send the video the way. But let's jump right into it. It's been a lot going on. Again, we keep talking about the golf world. The season is heating up. We had a first-time winner on the tour just here this last tournament.
Where do you play golf?
Yeah. So he where did he play again? Where did he play?
Pepperdine. Come on.
Oh, I didn't know he played at Pepperdine. I did not know that. Okay, so he played at Pepperdine. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, he barely kept his card last year. That was his rookie year, but another good rookie to look out for from Pepperdine. He played Walker Cup team, and he played ahead of Sahith, I believe.
Okay.
In here, Sahith was a sophomore, but William Mao. So he's the guy who made like a 13 on that DJ West famous bunker, But what's crazy about it is I believe it's 2021 when Pepperdine last won the national championship, and Pepperdine was 1, OU was 2, and Oklahoma State was 4, and it was out at Greyhawk. So I went out and watched. And now in college golf, you can substitute players in and out after rounds. So Joe, who just won the tour event, and I believe he was a junior. He was playing number 6. That's how good that team was. And Sahith wasn't on the team, but he could have been. He just didn't take his COVID year. And OU ended up in the finals with Pepperdine. But I got to watch Joe because they subbed out RJ Mankey, I believe is his name. He was a first team All-American, playing number 1. He shot like a 75. They subbed him out for Joe Highsmith, their 6-man, and they went on to win the national championship, beat OU in the finals.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I hate
Yeah.
that they beat the Sooners, but that's a good
Well,
story.
so I was like, I made sure to show up to the final match because my parents live by the course.
Okay.
So I flew out and I was like, I didn't wear any logos or anything. And then I just waited to see who won. And then I was taking pictures, with the team, with Pepperdine. So that's where I got my undergrad. But
Nah, that's
so,
pretty cool.
so
Now,
uh,
now let's get into it. You've got Arnold Palmer this week. You've got the big boys out now. Cam Davis is leading right now. Again, of course, we this is a Thursday, so
yeah,
vi- Cam Davis is leading right
yeah,
now.
that's one of Neil Smith's guys,
Yep, two under through seven. It's early, but you've got all the big names here. You've got Scotty, Hideki,
God, Jordan or
Jordan. Yeah,
no,
everyone's playing this.
no, Jordan and Ricky aren't playing.
I thought Jordan was. When did he say he
Yeah,
was?
they didn't, they were not ranked high enough because, Jonathan at the academy is a fanboy of Jordan. So I always try to bring, I like Jordan Spieth. I mean,
Yeah,
I just hate playing against those guys that clank it around and make everything on you. And then, and he is obviously the king of that. He's won
he
three.
is. He is.
And, but Jordan, yeah, Jordan and Ricky weren't ranked high enough because it's an elevated event. And
Yep.
they didn't get an exemption either.
Justin Thomas got in though. How did he get in?
Well, he's got two top fives already this year.
Okay.
Or
Okay. So
early
that's
on, and he's higher than them.
okay. So big boys playing this week. And then that leads us to, what you should be doing in your personal golf journey. Now, JJ, you've played 18 holes. I haven't played a hole yet this year, but I'm planning this weekend to get out. But you also had an opportunity to do some coaching as well as lessons and get on the course with someone who's kind of around our age group who just really started golf. What recommendations would you give people? What have you seen in real life on someone who has started their golf journey, getting out in 2025 and starting to play?
Yeah, so my sister actually, she's my older sister. Everyone thinks she's younger, but she's a fitness trainer and she specializes in golf fitness, but she trains, everybody. But she asked if she could come down and take a lesson with her and one of her clients, who's a few years older than her. But this lady started playing golf during COVID, I believe, like 2020, already shooting around 80, and
Wow.
and like when I watched her, her swing's not perfect, and I made sure to keep it real simple because she has the perfect mindset for like recreational amateur golfers. I mean, she play like how I play cut. She just plays a cut, hits it out there like 210, 220, and she just knows her game and she keeps it simple. I mean, so you know that when I was teaching her, I was like biting my tongue because I wanted to say technique wise, but she had such a good mindset, which I rarely ever see in an amateur golfer that comes in for a lesson. Why is my position doing this? I'm like, well, what ball flight is that causing? They don't know. So
Yeah.
like, if it ain't, or you don't fix it if it's not broken, is that what it's called? Is that it's
Yeah. If
like,
it ain't broke, you don't fix it. Yeah.
yeah, there you go. I know I'm saying it wrong, but yeah, there's a lot of different swings out there, and she just plays her game. And we went out there, and I don't know what she shot, but I felt like she was putting for birdie nearly every hole. And I got to play the ladies' tees with them, which was pretty fun. So
Now, so what I take away from that is that we really do try to make things overcomplicated sometimes. I think we put a lot of jargon, not you particularly, but people will go get a lesson, they'll go to an academy, they'll go work with someone. They get a lot of jargon, they get their head filled because someone wants to also feel like an expert. Like
yeah,
the one thing that a coach wants to do, they want to be able to coach. So being an expert there, they're filling people with a lot of things that they may or may not need in that level of their game. What you're
well, I would say golf instructors, the majority, like to show you how much they want or how much they know. Sorry.
yeah.
No, and I mean, not all of them. There's a lot of good coaches, but what I've noticed is they're always trying to outdo each other with radial deviation and all this stuff I can't even understand. And I taught in golf for 15 years, you know. But I think there's a difference between like teaching or instructing and coaching, where I think coaching needs to be more because coaching is, kind of giving them wisdom or,
Yeah.
course management, mental game, teaching them to understand their swing, but coaching them up how to hit, play different shots, but not being so technical. And that's the hardest thing for me as an instructor is because people want, the technique stuff, which they do need, but they want too much of that, and I think most instruction is way too overdone. So
Yeah, I'll give you that. I definitely would agree that. But also, as the amateur, we feel smart when we know the technical terms, because then we can go
every
out and tell
golfer,
our
yeah, every golfer is an expert. I've found out.
you could we can go out and tell our buddy what it means if I'm over the top and I have no clue really what I'm talking about. Or we can go tell our buddy if we're swinging too far inside or we're too flat or this is happening and that is happening. That makes us feel good to be able to use that jargon on the course
Oh
also.
yeah, keep your head down. You're swinging over the top. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know
auto.
how many times I've had someone come in and say they're just over the top. They know what they're doing wrong. They're over the top because they're slicing it. And even though TrackMan is used on the PGA Tour to get all the data, and I think like 90% of tour pros use TrackMan, the others use like Uniker, Foresight, or
Yeah.
whatever, but a flight scope. But even though TrackMan is telling them, then I'll show up the video where the path is going to the right and out. The number is positive, which means it's going in and out for a right-hander. They will, but their face is, 8 degrees more right for a right-hander than their path, and they just can't grasp that concept. They're not over the top, and it's like let's get that club face shot. And that's my biggest tip. And basically, I don't know if it was with the lady I was referring to earlier, but in a lesson this week, I just kept saying, all right, pay attention to the feel of the club face, going back, because it was easiest for them to get it just a little more shut. Because
Yeah.
most people cup it going back because they get handsy, and that opens the club face wide open. So, and every time I reminded that student to do it, their ball was just, going. But pay attention to the feel of the club face in your hands. So,
Yeah, and so speaking of like some of those technical things, the TGL, that the golf league is still roaring. We had an event where we had Tiger on camera just here this week. Ratings kind of bumped just a little bit because people could watch Tiger, but at the same time, he's not ready to play competitive golf. He's actually still talking technical terms on the telecast. They're asking him how he feels. Oh, well, I'm a little overextended this way, or I'm not strong enough that way. And then of course, he also leaned in and I just lost my mom. So losing my mom has left me in a position where
that's probably the hardest thing because I
yeah,
don't, 2023, I believe my tournament season, that was my worst ever. And it was all off the course.
yeah,
And what's the weirdest thing is I striped it that year, but on the greens, like, I don't know. It just
that
mentally,
mental piece.
I
Yeah,
three putted freaking every other hole, I think, like that year because they don't realize stuff off the course really affects you on the course. But
yeah, and
how good does he look physically though?
so physically he looks in shape.
I mean, I'm just thinking about his biceps, like it's the beef muscles.
He looks in shape, but he doesn't look. It's just not the same.
No, I mean he's gonna be 50 this year, so
Yeah, it's not the
it's
same.
freaking crazy. It shows how old we are. But
Yeah,
like I still remember the first time I ever saw him was at my first junior worlds. He gave a talk at the opening ceremonies, and he was 17, and I think I was 9, uh, 8 or 9. But yeah, it's crazy. He's gonna be 50.
yeah. I remember the first time I ever saw him was at the 4 or 5 players, and he just looked like a god amongst men. Like it just everybody was following him, and of course we all age, and Father Time is undefeated, but some of the stuff that's happened to him is unimaginable.
Yeah, and
That could have happened.
I think if he, what's unfortunate is he outworked everybody, and he was athletically gifted to, be so powerful, and he would snap that knee and, back and all that. But I think modern day with all the technology and biomechanics and experts we have, I think he probably wouldn't have experienced all these injuries,
I agree.
because
And if he
he
didn't
was
want to be a Navy SEAL, had he not been jumping out of like, planes and shit, I think that would have helped too.
Well, did you I watched that HBO documentary, they had that 2-part series or whatever a few years ago, and they went through that and he said, "You guys can do whatever you want to me, just don't mess up my hands."
Yeah, but they did do everything else, and that's what happened. So, yeah, Okay, so before we wrap, there's some exciting stuff happening at Timber as well at Golf Performance Group. You have officially launched the indoor golf league there as well. How's it going? What do you think? What's the prizes for people to be able to take home in this event?
Yeah, so we have some cash prizes. So we give our academy members the option. They can all play for free and have a team. And then if you're not a member, it's $100 and that goes into the pot. And then depending on, we're still letting people, they have till Saturday to sign up and play their first round. But we've had a handful of teams play so far, and 5 over is leading in a two-man scramble.
Hmm.
That's Paige Black from 6,700 yards. We're letting people, based on their age and ability. It's too hard to, when you're in a scramble and you're not putting out. You're
Of
hitting
course.
75
Yeah.
foot, 12-foot gimme. So we just all decided if they're this age or this handicap, they can play the forward tees. But then you have men, they're 65 and they're 14 handicap, and they're like, I want to play back here. I'm like, okay, well, as long as you're not going to complain about it not being fair. But yeah, but we're gonna do it today. Me and Jonathan Patrick, and we'll get one other person play, see what we shoot.
Nice,
But
nice.
yeah,
Okay, I need to find my way out there to get me a little team together. I got an idea of who I want to include in mine so we can get that started. So we want to make sure we kept the podcast even in our busy schedule. We are committed to having this back. We want to thank you all for engaging in the podcast as well. We got a
yeah,
few clips that have done several thousand. You all have watched us on YouTube, and we're gonna have this thing geared back up. And we might have someone in the golf academy get a big head because they think now they're the star of the show since their clip got the most views right now. I'm not gonna name Tanner, but
yeah.
he might
Yeah,
be
he's the
the
tourist
star.
guy playing golf at Galveston Country Club. He's a professional amateur golfer, not the good kind that plays in like the Winged Foot Amateur Invitational stuff. He's the one that just plays every day. He's got the
Yeah, yes, yeah. But this is the Golf Performance Group podcast. We thank you again. Continue, like, subscribe, follow us on all platforms. We'll have more content, more live events, more opportunity for you to get in front of us as well. Uh,
yeah. Yeah,
LeBron Palmer, any closing thoughts?
yeah. Sorry about that for cutting you off, but yeah, we're gonna have some good guests too. We'll put together a schedule of some good guests. George Gank is committed to coming on, so I'm calling him out right here. So if he doesn't come on, you guys can unfollow him on Instagram. But no, he's a funny guy, but he's a genius. Like he is him and Chris Como and Neil Smith, three best coaches by far I've ever been around. But when it comes to matchups and the body movement, I mean, he's one of those three guys, and David Adele is fourth, that when I talk to him, I feel like I know nothing about golf. I feel like I've ripped everybody off, because they're just another level of genius when it comes to golf.
Nice, nice. So more guests, more content on the way, and you're gonna get to see us on the course also because we got to start getting some of that content up. But this is LeBron Palmer, and
Ginormous Johnson.
we're out.